Hello everybody and welcome. Today we will study the structures would and used to. In English, there are different ways to express actions or states in the past that are not true anymore. We can use would, used to plus infinitive, and simple past tense. First, let's take a look at the uses of would. It is used as a kind of past tense of will or going to. Also, it is a slightly more formal form than used to. In addition, we use it to talk about repeated actions in the past that don't happen anymore. In other words, habitual past behavior. Or to talk about past refusals. Let's read some examples. John would study and work at the same time when he was younger. My boss would praise the employees whenever she saw a good result. Every Monday, I would organize my office first thing in the morning. He wanted to change the contract, but his boss would not agree. There are two important details regarding would. The first one is that we don't normally use the negative or question form of would for past habits. For instance, it is incorrect to say, I would travel for work during December. The correct way to express this idea is I didn't used to travel for work during December. The second important detail is that we can't usually use would to talk about past states. For example, it is incorrect to say I would have nice coworkers. The correct way to say it is I had nice coworkers. It is incorrect to say she would work in Scotland. The correct way to express this idea is she worked in Scotland. Now let's move on to the uses of used to. One is to talk about past states that are not true anymore. For instance, we used to have meetings on Tuesday afternoon, but not anymore. Another one is to talk about past habits or repeated past actions that don't happen anymore. For example, she used to work in advertising, but she quit her job years ago, so it doesn't happen anymore. Another one is to talk about states in the past which are no longer true. For example, I used to have a low salary, but now I earn good money. Something important to take into account is that we need to distinguish the difference between used to plus infinitive and be or get used to plus the ing form of the verb, because they have different meanings. Let's look at these examples. The first one, I used to drive to work. What does it mean? It means that in the past I drove to work, but I don't do that anymore. The second example, I am used to drive to work, means that at first driving to work was strange or unusual. It was not a habit, but now it has become familiar. Now it is the common thing that I do. So as you can see, they have two different meanings, even though they look very similar in structure. Additionally, we need to understand the differences between the simple past, would, and used to. The first one, and probably the most common one, is that past simple doesn't emphasize the repeated or continuous nature of the action or situation. Also, the past simple doesn't make it so clear that the thing is no longer true. And if something happened only once, we must use simple past for sure. Let's look at this example. I worked for a year at Amazon. Nicely done. I hope you find this information useful. Thank you very much for your attention.